Hello, it's Rufio, and this is another Hello, it's Rufio VOD. Stream VOD. I stream. I stream. I am a streamer for the 100 Devs stream team. 100 Devs is an online agency that teaches people web dev as well as the job hunt and how to get a job in tech. If you're interested in getting a job as a software engineer, I highly recommend you check out the resources, which will be in the description below. In this VOD, we go over a little bit of the job hunt. We go over my past job hunt because I've had a job in tech before, and how that job hunt looked for me. And the main thing that we do, however, is we go over behavioral questions. So there are different types of interviews in tech. There's a technical interview where you'll do like a coding challenge or something like that, a take home. There's a recruiter assessment to just make it past the recruiter. And there's also a behavioral interview where they'll ask you questions like, tell us how you got here today, or like, what makes you perfect for our company? Things like that. I'm getting the questions that I answer in this VOD today from the bank, which is a compilation of questions that have been accrued and asked in different behavioral interviews. It is a resource from 100 Devs, and I will also be putting it in the description below. We answer 3 questions today. 1. Give an example of a project or initiative that you started on your own. 2. Tell me a time that you had to work on several projects at once. And 3. Describe a situation in which you felt you had not communicated well enough. I answer all of these. I had answered them before, and this is kind of updating those answers, but we do a lot of work in making them better. We also talk a lot at the beginning. We talk about what makes what I think makes a good software engineer, and then my chat gotchas me and is like, Rufio, do you not possess those characteristics? We talk also about the online talking dictionary that I made a couple years ago for Southern Paiute, a Native American language in my state in the United States. So if you're looking for just some chill time to listen to me talk about, the job hunt and trying to get better on my way to the job hunt, this is the VOD for you. I'm not on the job hunt right now, but I will be eventually, so it's good to be prepared. Enjoy the VOD. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night, whatever it is for you. Sorry for not being here last week. I don't know if you can tell by my voice, but I was sick. I had my nieces and nephews in town 2 weeks ago, I guess it is now. Not this last weekend, but the one before. And my niece, my 5-year-old niece, was sick, and she would like take me by the face and be like, and I was like, girl, are you sick? And she's like, no. And she told my sister, she's like, I'm not sick, I'm just getting the cough out. Well, wow. Let me tell you, she was sick, so that's cool. The day I was supposed to be streaming, I woke up and my throat hurt, so that was also cool. It was also the day before and the day after. I think it was a sinus infection. Well, kids with their open mouth coughs, yeah, bless their hearts, they don't quite get it, but I should have been more careful, but I thought she was getting over it, And maybe she was, but she was still in the contagious era of her life, so that's fine. But that means that I haven't streamed for 2 weeks, and I felt it. Like last week, I'm like there's something missing here, and I've already gotten used to streaming again, so glad to be here with y'all. I was trying to think of what we should do today. I've been trying to think of ways to make streaming better for you guys. It's already great for me. I just would like y'all to enjoy it to be worthwhile for you to be here, So my default is Code Wars, and Code Wars is very low effort for me. Like, there's the actual effort, but I don't have to plan anything. And last night when I was laying in bed, I was like, what should I do for stream tomorrow? Well, 100 Devs, if you don't know, 100 Devs is a free online boot camp and agency where you learn to code, you learn the job hunt, and they are doing a job hunt month called Huntober. So every day they do sessions where they will talk over different things that are needed for the job hunt in tech. And yesterday and the day before, they talked about behavioral questions. I'm going to be doing that throat clearing thing a lot today. There is a list for the behavioral questions. If you do !Banky in chat, I'm going to do it. You can see the list of questions. This is the list of questions for behavioral and for technical. And the idea is that you answer them a certain way, you put them in your flashcards, and you memorize those things. I've done this before. I've been on the hunt before, and I've had a job before. But I haven't done any of it for 3 or 4 years now. I can't believe I'm old enough to remember 4 years ago, I'll be honest. Ryu said, you need to practice your Banky this morning, but you're putting it off, so you're glad I'm back and doing this. Yeah, so like I said, I was like, I want to make this useful, and everyone's doing it. Like, that's what we did in the huddle yesterday. We did the Banky, and I'm like, but I'm not even on the job hunt. And I was like, yes, nor will you be if you don't prepare, Rufio. So, like I said, I've done this before. I have answers for, I don't know if it's everything, but it's a lot of them. But I also have worked a software engineering job now, and I need to update them with software engineering things, situations. Also, hi, Lark. Excuse me. 4 years ago, that's like 3,000 years ago. It really is. It's kind of weird because I got a job in 2022 and I started the job hunt in 2021. That's 4 years. That's 4 years ago. Let's be honest, the last 5 years have just been, what do you call it? A blur, not a blur, but like a mess, a muddle. My throat seems rough today. My throat's okay. Fortunately, I still got the mucus going, but I have residual sickness. Dystopian, and it still is. Yes, the last 5 years have felt quite dystopian. I was talking to, I think it was my sister the other day, and just like saying to her how I don't feel like I've accomplished that much these last 5 years, and she's like, Rufio, shut the fuck up. Like, you graduated into the pandemic. Like, come on now. Your like 20s have been post-pandemic. Also, I saw a post on Reddit, and it was some teenager, who was like, what was the pandemic like? I was only 9 when it happened. And I was like, oh my god, I can't believe there are kids young enough to be like, I don't remember the pandemic. Oh my god. What? What do you mean? What do you mean you don't remember? Honestly, since COVID, you have this tinfoil theory that we entered a different reality. Yeah, I mean, like, it was always coming, you know? I feel like, at least in, wow, is this the most I've ever talked in, like, a week? Probably. It was coming, at least in the United States, since 2016, you know? Before that, since, Ronald Reagan, you know? But it came to a head, maybe? Yeah. Loving the throat today. Loving the throat. I have Gatorade. I got Gatorade over here. Also, did you know, as a streamer, you kind of have to plan what you wear? Not in the way that I'm like, oh my goodness, all the viewers, what shirt do they want to see today? But I'll get really hot and then I'll get really cold. And so I'm layering today. If I get too hot, the lumberjack shirt comes off. If I'm not, I'll just leave it. So, any questions about the bank or anything? You like the red? You like my lumberjack shirt? I have never cut down a tree. Thank you, thank you. Matches my background. It does. Oh my god, look. Let's hold up the arms next to the background. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, my theme color for this channel is red. I don't like the color red, which is ironic. It's fine, but it's just a bit strong. But in Rufio in Hook has red mohawk vibes, and so I was like, I gotta do red. It's gotta be red. So, and then the bird, the emote, our cockatoo emote, it's got bird has. I give up. Has red. Red in its crest. What webcam do I use? It says Giga on it, but if you go to my about page on my stream, I have like a section that lists all my equipment. It's several years old, but I haven't updated anything, so it should be up to date. I've definitely used this particular webcam since I started streaming in 2021. The red matches evil Rufio's vibes kind of well. Hey, y'all, there's a new emote. Did you see it? I spent a couple hours on it because I got it out of what is it called? Straight up got it out of home videos. It's Kidfio. So in the video, I'm like a 5-year-old, maybe 3-year-old, I don't know, and I'm like feeling my hair, like I'm like feeling my hair right, and then I'm looking at my dad, and it kind of looks like you know. Can you summarize the bank thing? You have no idea about it. Yes, I would love to. So in tech, we've got an interview for tech roles, right? And there are several stages to the interview process. One of the stages is the recruiter screening, where the recruiter will kind of ask some questions and suss you out and be like, are they ready for the next stage? And then another interview in the process will be the behavioral. In both situations, you're going to be using the questions we're practicing today, which are like general questions like, here, I got them open. Give me an example of the project or initiative you started. It can be a non-business one. What prompted you to get started? You know, those questions that they ask. There's a certain way to answer them that will make you look freaking awesome and get you a job, you know. If you want those questions, do exclamation point Banky in the chat. They're ready for you. There's like 40 of them. So what we're gonna do today, I said this a little earlier, but I'll say it again. What we're gonna do today is we're going to answer these questions. Now, I've gotten a job in software engineering before. I've answered these questions before. When I answered them, I hadn't had a job in tech at all. So they're all about situations that aren't actually coding related. So what I would like to do today is I would like to update mine, and you can help or you can do your own. We can hang out, whatever you want to do. Let me know if that was an adequate explanation, but those are the vibes today. I also wanted to say, when I was interviewing in 2022, I was freaking awesome at this stuff. I know that sounds full of it, and I promise I'm not trying to be. I was pretty good at it. Where I always fell off was the technical. So there's a technical interview with technical questions, and I never made it past, ever. So I think personally that's where I struggle. It's a lot easier today to be like, oh yeah, let's just do behavioral questions, because let's pull that shit out of our ass, you know? Like, but technical, holy. I still don't know if I'm good at it. I haven't done any since.
Hi, Surly. I'm good. I'm getting over a sickness. It's fun. How are you? My God. Who is hitting up my phone at this moment? Whoa. Okay. Anon, you said, please, can you teach me how to be good at interviewing? I don't know if I think the way to be good at it is to be practiced. So, like, to do these questions, to get good at them. My God. Okay, good. Pause. Who is hitting up my phone? Calm the hell down. Calm down. Who is it? It's my sister. Calm down. It's my dad. It's my dad. My dad got an Apple Watch a couple months ago. And he found the steps function. And he will send me his steps every day. And it's gotten to like ridiculous levels of steps because he will go swim in the morning and night and he'll put it on his ankle and then he'll kick. And so he hits like 30,000 steps a day. And he's like, is that cheating? Low key, I'm like, yeah, that's totally cheating. But I realize at the same time, it's probably okay because he's getting old. Don't tell him. He's getting older. And he needs to stay active. And if he wants to put his watch on his ankle and kick and pretend it's a step, okay. Okay, Rufio's dad, okay. You just keep moving. Surly, you said for you recently, the technical stuff's been okay, but it's the other aspects you failed on, like the star approach. So when we answer these questions today, we're going to be using something similar to the star approach, but it's called the CAR approach. So it's cause, action, result. Like the question, the answer to that question, whatever question it is, should follow that sort of framework. Ryu said, it's funny, you're the opposite. It's like you're not bad at behavioral, but it's hard for you to assess. Okay, why can I not talk? It's harder for you to assess if your answer's good. But you love the technical ones because there's a more clear-cut answer. That is interesting. I think I'm just not as technically savvy. I'm better at just like talking. If you couldn't tell, on streams, I'm freaking great at talking, and then we'll like do my coding and I'll be like, I don't know how to do this thing. Like, I don't know. Lark, about my text. Sorry, that was me. We're contacting you about your expired car warranty. Do you have a minute to talk? You love remote interviews because you can have the answers right next to you while actually interviewing. And Dad Fio, yes, Dad Fio. Yeah, I don't know. For me, I just like in literature classes growing up, I was always really good because I could just pull something out of my ass. This is a little harder because you have to write it down before you pull it out of your ass and practice it. But the same sort of concept applies. Interview preparation practice is cringe and uncomfortable. Yeah, not as uncomfortable, I feel like, as some interviews can be. I've had some gnarly ass interviews. I've had, like, I think now, if any of you were here a couple years ago, do you remember Othello? You had to pull out of your brain instead, taps ass. Yeah, necessary, but unless you're a natural at that. Yeah, you're right. Oh, Othello PTSD. For those of you who weren't here a couple of years ago, I did a technical interview where I found out beforehand that I was going to have to how do I speak English? What did I just say? I would be how do I speak in the past tense in English? This is my native language. I would have to code Othello, the game. Have you ever heard of Othello? Nobody has. Who has heard of Othello? Probably some people who play it on Twitch, honestly. But I got another streamer, Alexander6, on, and we co-streamed and we coded the board. And I was like, all right, I fucking prepped for this shit. I'm prepped.
I may not be that good at coding. I'm prepped for it though. I showed up in the interview. Oh my gosh, it's like making me cry because I'm cringing so hard. No, actually though, wow. Not as a sad thing because I did not get this job, but I showed up and the person was like, "All right, welcome. You are going to be coding the gameplay of Othello. We've already coded the board for you, so I'm going to give you an hour. I'll be back in an hour, and then we can go over the board." And then he left. And I was like, "You already coded the board?" Because low-key, I thought that taking the board, that would take like the whole time to code that, right? They already did it. And I was not competent enough at coding to know how to code the freaking game. He came back. What I did is I was like, I'll just fucking pseudocode this shit like what I would do because I just am not good at this. So I pseudocoded it, and then he came back and oh my god, he was like, "There's no fucking way. She didn't do a damn line of code. Like, this is so bad. She is incompetent. Did not get the job. Worst interview I have ever had." Now I can laugh at it and cry a little bit, I guess. Hi, Tehran. How are you? Was this a game dev job? No. Nope, it wasn't a game dev job. Anon, you said you think you're somewhat okay-ish at behaviorals, but really bad at technicals. I feel ya. Othello's known as Reversi? Okay. Tell your dad he can probably get an app for his phone that he can specify the activity as swimming, which would probably better classify his activity. I think that would work, except he is not technically savvy. Like, he's figured this out because my sister showed him, but he's not technically savvy enough to, or I don't think he'll care enough to actually change it when he does, but I'll mention it. You also had a technical interview last year that made you feel that way. Oh yeah? You're well. How about me? I'm getting over an illness. Got mucus in my throat. It's great. I love talking and feeling that. How are you? You already said you're well. Okay. I am good at life. I'm good at life. You felt very incompetent. Isn't it great to feel incompetent in tech? Why did they have you code a game though? Or are you misunderstanding? They had me code a game just because it was just, they wanted to see my technical skills. Yeah, it was in JavaScript, or it was supposed to be. Sorry to hear that. Get well soon. Thank you. I'm getting better. Name that movie. You've been coding for 30 years. Don't worry. There are things you still feel incompetent at. So something I did when I was in my first job in tech is, I hate my throat, is I made a list of all the tickets that I did so I could do like questions later. And I was going through them yesterday in preparation for this, and I really liked my job, and the tickets were really quite simple, and I liked doing them. And I'm sad I don't have that job. I'm sad. Still sad. How can I be sad this many years later? So for your software engineering job that you got, what was the technical like? Ironically, my last job, my only job, I didn't have any interviews. Not really. Because one of my mods here, Vanta board, went too bad for me. Really hard. Like, she would talk up the CEO and the CTO, it's in a small startup, and be like, "Rufio's a shit, hire Rufio. You're gonna hire someone, hire Rufio. I've seen Rufio code. I would love to work with Rufio. Please hire Rufio." And that was in January 2022, I think. And then in like October 2022, like in July. In July, Vanta board mentioned that she might be able to get a job for me at her company. And then in October, she was like, "All right, they'd like to talk to you about this." And so I hopped on a phone call with both the CEO and CTO separately. And I guess that would have been the interview. But when I was there, from what I remember, they basically were just like I had the job, and they were like, so this is how things are gonna go. Like, tell us a little about yourself. Like this is what it's gonna look like when you start. You can start on this day, this thing, and then like, I don't remember how long it was after that call. I got the offer letter. So, networking, I guess. I think now if they had known the level of coding I was at, they probably wouldn't have hired me, even though I tried to make it pretty clear. Because I think that's why they laid me off in the end. All right. Honestly, you just wanted to code the Othello to see if you could pass the interview or if they were just gatekeeping. Did you try it, Lark? Couldn't you reach out to them again and keep that network alive in hopes you get hired again? I could, but like, and I'm so connected with my CTO, and he'll check in on me from time to time. But they've already hired a bunch of people at this point. Rehired, not rehired, but like they've done. Bro, I might need to grab a tissue. I haven't had a runny nose this whole time, and here it is. It's fine. They've hired a bunch of people since that time, and I shared my CTO's post on LinkedIn, and then he was like, yo dog, thanks for sharing that. And I was like, no problem. He's like, how are you? I'm like, I'm good. I'm still looking for a role in tech. And then he didn't say anything. He didn't say, good luck. He didn't say, we're fucking hiring, bro. I personally think I would have been the best person for that role given that I did it. You know, I had exposure to the code base. So now I just need to move on. I need to move on. Don't underestimate the power of networking when you want to get or even have interviews. Go to user groups and conferences. They're free conferences and user groups in the UK, and get to know people. Indeed. That's one of my favorite things about streaming is I feel like I get to know a lot of people. That's crazy. Truly the power of networking. So am I on the hunt again? No. Where did I get this pencil? I just picked it up, you know. No. We're doing interview prep today because I would like to eventually, but I'm not at the moment. I low-key don't think I'm good enough to get another job, which doesn't make that much sense now I'm saying it out loud. But I don't think I'm that good at coding. I haven't touched any projects for 2 years. The only coding I've done in 2 years is Code Wars. So, hold up a tissue for Rufio. Thank you. You haven't tried yet. You're in the thinking phase. But curiously enough, you had this thought last week. You're like, yeah, do you remember Rufio's worst interview ever? I'm building the base right now. It's okay to take time to ponder this life-changing decision. Yeah, like I said, we're doing this today. I know we're half an hour in and we haven't done it yet. But we're doing this today because I would eventually like to get back into tech. Not planning on doing it at the moment, but I want to, like, you know, I don't want to cram all of a sudden when I'm ready. I'm probably ready then. No, you know, when I first started the job hunt, I finished my 100 hours project because I had people in chat here helping me. I coded all of it on stream. I didn't do any of it by myself, and I think I definitely used y'all as a crutch, and I don't think my skills actually were where they needed to be to get jobs at the time. I think it might have been like 10 or 15 interviews that I didn't get the job. Once I hit the technical, like it was like, yeah, Rufio, you're not quite good enough in that regard. I'm probably better now. Given that I did it as a job, but who knows? I don't know. I'm speculating at the moment. You can be competent if I want. I like you the way you are, Lark. You could ask chat to offer suggestions instead of the answers. Yeah. I mean, I try to do that in Code Wars. Like, don't give me the answers. Give me suggestions. Haven't done any coding projects on chat for years. But when we do that, I do genuinely get help, and that's great. I think I also need to try and do some of it on my own off of stream. You know, the only time I code in the day can't be like once a week on stream, you know? I have to code more than that. I gotta read the technical articles. I gotta actually learn the concepts, which I never did. You think a big part of 100 devs is honestly confidence building. It took you a long time to start the hunt, even though maybe others would say you were ready 6 months ago, so you understand it. But I'm definitely good enough, even if I didn't do great on those interviews. Some good advice is to channel the confidence of a mediocre white cis man. Indeed. I think a couple years ago, I said to myself, I'm never going to lie. I'm going to tell the straight up truth. It is not going to be influenced any way or like one way or another. Like, it's going to be as raw as I can give it. And I really identified with that. And I need to freaking stop doing it because it does not benefit me in many situations in life, like in interviews. When they ask me something about my competency, I'm going to low-key say, I don't feel like I'm actually ready. I think I'm a pretty shit software engineer. Who's going to hire that person? Rufio. Shut the fuck up. Like, stop it. Stop talking yourself down. So I need to practice this in my daily life and just be like, Rufio, you don't have to be this way, the way you decided that you were going to be. What type of coding do I do in Code Wars? You can see some of my VODs on the channel. I think I have 3 or 4 of them. We code in JavaScript though, and we've been doing 6 to 8 Qs. I need to find how I learn. Like, you only learn if you tinker and build stuff, or else your brain can't handle it. Only tell the truth to those who tell you the truth. Jobs are not about a truth, but a hunt. Yeah, but yes, you're right. I'm afraid, though, if I'm not so honest about where I am, then I'll get in the job and they'll be like, what the fuck? I thought you were so much more competent than this. And then they'll fire me. But in my last job, they knew how competent I was and they laid me off anyway, so. You didn't say lie, though. Okay. Don't lie, but don't put yourself down and never snitch on yourself. You're right. It's one thing to say it and it's another thing to do it. I feel like oftentimes I have like the truth and the snitching, like they're like intertwined, you know? Try not to negative self-talk. It hurts when other people talk you down, but when you do it to yourself, you know where the chinks in your armor are and it hurts much more and eventually it becomes true. Yeah. Yeah, you're right. And I don't know, like, I like to sometimes think about myself in the third person. Like, hey, babe, don't talk about yourself that way. Like, it doesn't help anything. Like, would you talk about, like, I like to think of myself as Kid Fio. You can see the emote in chat. It's new. Thank you. Like, I'm talking to my 5-year-old self. Am I going to say to my 5-year-old self, like, you're not competent. You suck, 5-year-old. Of course she sucks. She's a 5-year-old. But who says that to a child? Nobody says that. Nobody should say that to a child. Don't be mean to children like that. You should be like, hey, we can learn, you know? You think I actually am not being honest when I say I'm not a good software engineer. I'm being honest about how I feel, but not really about my skills. How would you know? How do you know I'm not bad at I have to do a project on stream and then you can be like, okay, Rufio, you're right. You can't do this without anyone's help. You're not very good at this. You never learned the base concepts. Low-key, I think that would happen, though. I mean, you wouldn't say it because you're nice, but even senior engineers aren't completely knowledgeable about everything in coding, so it's fine. True. Being truthful is being you, and you are not always a newbie coder. I have been coding for 5 years now. Like, I started learning to code 5 years ago. This month, 5 years ago. That's a long time. Why was I laid off? I was laid off because of budget concerns is what they told me. They said, we don't have the budget. We have to lay someone off. And also, it's just you. You're the only one getting laid off. Thinking about it since, I think my manager didn't like me and didn't think I was good at my job. All right, let's test it. Lie to us. Okay, I'll lie to you. Okay, wait. I can lie better than this instead of cracking up immediately as I try to lie. I can't? Okay, stop it. I'm so dead serious right now. I'm not smiling. It has to be like a bald-faced lie. I graduated from kindergarten when I was 3. I am the best coder you have ever seen. I made Facebook actually. I coded Facebook when I was 5. And Mark Zuckerberg, who was babysitting me at the time, ripped me off. See you too, Rohan. I think we're being honest when we put our achievements in the worst light, but it's just as honest to speak of yourself in a more positive light. Is it? 5-year-old me is still too busy playing Nintendo to notice what you're saying. Am I planning to jump back to software engineering? Yes, eventually. No set date. I actually said in my brain the other day, a year from now. For sure. You envy 5-year-old me. Being a good software engineer isn't about doing everything 100% right immediately and doing it completely alone. You're right. A lot of it is coding with other people. I sound like I'm telling myself a self-fulfilling prophecy. Like I'm not a good coder, so I don't code, but I need to code to get better, but I suck at coding. All right, Lark, get out of here. Stop telling me the truth. It hurts. This is the best lie. Thank you. I'm great at lying. So, would any of you like jobs at Facebook? Because I'm handing them out. Or I would be if Zuckerberg hadn't stolen it from me. Like, come on. Don't steal other people's projects, Zuckerberg. Get your own. Come up with your own idea about having a social media platform. I came up with that by myself. That term, too. I'm good at lying. You believe my lie. What lie? What lie? Can I give you a job, please? I would. But I'm thinking that we're going to give every software engineer at the company, I'm going to give all their jobs to AI. Because it's clearly just as competent as a software engineer is. Yep, I fully believe in the robot revolution where I don't have to pay anyone any money and I get all of the money and the robots work 24/7. She believed he lied. You didn't know Social Network was based off of me. True story, my full name is Rufio. Shut the... My full name is Rufio Social Network. Rufio Social Network, that's my full legal name. Rufio Social Network. I named it after me. You gotta go because you need to actually practice your answers before work. Thanks for the vibes. Sorry for not actually doing any of it yet, but thanks for hanging out. Now lie and say this. I can become a great senior software engineer one day. I do actually believe that though. I think at some point I will be pretty good. At some point I'm going to be a great software engineer and I'm going to laugh. When I laugh, I'm like, I'm freaking awesome at this. You're not a junior forever. This is the best, how she has to repeatedly turn the other way as she tells the truth. What truth? What truth? What truth? You're right. What am I saying? I always tell the truth. I'm the best at telling the truth. No one is better at telling the truth than I am. I am the best. Can I share how I'll be doing it? The interview prep, right? That's what we're talking about? If so, yes, we probably should be doing that. Now you don't know whether I'm lying or not. No, I do genuinely. Like, I do genuinely think I'll be good at coding at one point. I just have to do it. I gotta get over the hurdle in my head that says, you can do it. You're gonna do it. You're gonna. And I think that was the best part of having an actual software engineering job for me, was by the time, or like 8 months in, I was like, I can do this. I'm good at this. Like, I can do, I'm learning. I kind of get this thing. I can do this. And then they laid me off. I can do it. The impression was giving Trumpio vibes. It was supposed to. I was mimicking our dear leader. Dear leader. Yes, it was supposed to. Thank you. I'm glad I did a good impression. Is it like that meme? How do you become good at a thing? Do the thing, cries. Yes. You mean jumping back to software engineering? Yes. So that is kind of, so I had one of our viewers who I don't think is here. They said that I should do a series of me prepping to get back into tech. This is the first one. What I'm planning on doing, I'm planning on going through all my behavioral interview questions and redoing them, started practicing them. Go through all my technical behavioral questions and answer them, memorize them. I'm planning on making a couple more websites. I am planning on making the elevator pitch I haven't made yet to say why I'm so awesome. What else would I need to get a job in tech? I am planning on starting to go to ¿Cómo se llama? What is it called? The group things. Meetups. I'm planning on going to meetups and coding there. And then I am planning on being more social on social media, more active on social media. So people will know who I am. People want to hire people they know. So I want to give people the opportunity to know me, like whether it's through clips of VODs, which I'm hoping to do, or through me making posts on LinkedIn, things like that. Do I have a checklist of characteristics that would qualify someone as a great software engineer? Problem-solving skills. I'm probably not the most qualified to say this, but like, you can solve a problem, you can look at it, you can figure it out, or you can know when you need help and you can reach out for help. Basic coding skills. Has some idea of architecture and what good architecture looks like. Always willing to keep learning, because you're going to need to keep learning. Any others, chat? Thank you for taking their advice. Wait, whose advice? Sorry. Will I do the narrative thing? Yes. I need to. Will I do it on chat? Okay, so I gotta come up with a narrative or an elevator pitch about why I'm the best thing since sliced bread. Do we want to see that on stream? I was gonna do it off stream because I'm gonna be doing it alongside a GPT. Networking with recruiters, hiring managers, other software engineers. Yes. Plus networking with their mothers, as Liana said. Anything for the job. True. Maybe not through the clips I've created for you then. I'm trying to, if you guys ever see anything funny here you want a clip, please do. Would love it. I would love to post funny clips. I haven't posted anything so far. But I'm trying to get my sister, who's good at social media, to go through my VODs and clip funny parts, because it's a lot of work. You could be wrong, but which of those qualities are you lacking in? You tricked me. You tricked me. I'm tricked. How dare you? You're right. I'm good at them, except for the architectural stuff. I actually don't know anything about architecture. What's the role? The role I'm applying for? The role? What role? So I'm not actually applying for anything or trying to get a job right now. Eventually, the role is software engineering. I would do developer advocacy. I don't know. I would do something in that any of those purviews. You're just referring to my friend's suggestions for starting this series. Ah, okay, gotcha. You clipped all my lies. It wasn't a trick, it was truth. I haven't lied though. I only tell the truth while looking the opposite direction. No, I look in the opposite direction when I need to compose my face. Also not true, but I'll ask you for advice on architecting a website later. How do you know? How do you know my skills at architecture? I do actually would like being better at English. Thank you. I would. I also do actually too. Would like speak English nice. Fluent like. It's what it's. I would like to be good at architecting code and would like to learn how. Thank you. Is this the only way I cannot fuck up speaking English? Charlie, you're a real one. Why speak many words when fewer words do trick? Speak language hard. Would not recommend. Speak code instead. Code also language though. Becoming a senior software engineer is kind of boring. Like, I do know mostly cloud architecture and infrastructure and mentoring and meetings and stuff. But that sounds interesting. Become a machine, reject humanity. Speak in the like beep 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 beep. Not the Morse code, but like the robot language. Rufio AI. Hey, so I was gone for 2 years, everyone, and in the meantime, I became a cyborg. Thank you.
Wow.
Wow. Speak in strictly binary code with zeros and ones. Like the Flight of the Conchords. 0110111011011. You're afraid it will only take me 3 months to get a job in tech? No way. No way. No way. That would be cool though. Hi, Celeste. But hopefully we'll have me for longer. Oh, okay, so something I fucked up on in the past. When I got my job in tech, I decreased the streaming significantly because I don't know. I was depressed, but also I had a job and I don't know. This time, no, Rufio, no. This time, I'm still gonna be here because I'm not streaming to get a job. Wait a second, I got a cough. I'm not streaming to get a job. I'm streaming because I like hanging out with y'all. Like, genuinely, I really do. People getting to know me is nice as a part of it. But, like, streaming is fun. I burned out, too, last time. So I'm trying to not stream twice a week like I was before. I was, like, doing 10 hours a week of coding on stream. It was crazy. I can't do that this time. Hopefully I can ration myself. What is the word? You've been doing lots of microservice deployments. You do enjoy it, not the meetings though. When I get a job in 3 months, can I get the rest of your chat's job too? I would actually. Wait a second, y'all. I gotta like blow my nose. Hold up. I'll be right back. Low key, still a little sick. That's fine. That's fine. Anon said, can I get the rest of my chat jobs too? I would. At some point, I would love to like have one person at least at a time and like help them get a job. Not that I'm like qualified to help anyone get a job, but even as just like a buddy, you know, it would be nice to, you know, I don't know, get them on stream and buddy up and get a job. Chubby Puppy Bear, love it. Thanks for the sub. And Creed, thanks for the follow. Partially kidding, but also pacing myself is good, like a marathon. I agree. I would like to not be burned out on streaming. This is my stream now, Evil Rufio. Yes, did you like Evil Rufio? We made her a couple years ago. This is BRB, I can't. Tell me. You know, there are a lot of streamers that have got like the fancy setups. Tell me this is not the best starting soon page you've ever seen in your life. Tell me. Like, gorgeous. Love it. This is so me. I love Parrot. I love the color blue even though it's not my color. And this meme is just like top tier. And then we've got our BRB, which is also very my humor. Just 10 out of 10. Good job, self. I'm great at making these. Why have a beautiful one when you could have this instead? Why have a beautiful BRB screen when you could have Evil Rufio staring at you? You feel that this is what's missing from most streams. Most startup screens need mountains and raccoons. This is your type of humor too? Then you're in the right place. Thank you for being here. I think it's great. I think I'm so funny. Let me just be a car that can't start. We need... We need existential crisis raccoon and evil Fio. Is it dark Rufio better or evil Fio? You think my startup screen should have more Bob Ross painting the mountain? I could do that. Maybe. I could do that. Thank you for streaming. You're very much looking forward to it. Yeah. Thank you for being here. Not in my shirt. I'll cough where I want to, Lark. Cough drops. So my throat doesn't hurt. I just have, and I hate saying this because I think it's so gross to even think about. I just have so much mucus. That's the problem. And I wasn't sick before I started this stream. Like I was like, I'm better now. And now I'm talking for like an hour straight, and maybe that's what it is. Evil. Wow. Evil Fio. That's what I'm saying. Evil Fio. Evil Fio and Dark Rufio can be one and the same. You forgot the name Dark Rufio, actually. Yeah. That works for me. I'm cosplaying as an old car. You know, the car that won't start up? That's me. That was my car earlier this week. Wouldn't start. Had to get a new battery. Thank you. Hey, Lark, thanks for pinning the Banky to the top of chat. What type of car? What car am I? I don't know. Pick a car. I'm a Chrysler. What type of Chrysler? I don't know them well enough to tell you. I'm a Subaru Outback 2007. That's my dream car. I'm one of the cars from the movie Cars. I'm Sally. I'm a Porsche. What's interesting is you don't think your first impression from my profile picture and community interaction matches how cool and amazing I am. And you're pretty sure I was awesome. Stop it. That's very nice of you. Thank you. Are you saying I need a new profile picture? Like a profile picture where, like a goofy one where I'm like, I don't know. What would be... My profile picture's from a couple of years ago. Like 4 years ago. This is definitely an interview question somewhere. What type of car are you? Yeah. And why? And how does that make you a good fit for our company? Make the raccoon my picture? It's okay, but it doesn't entirely do me justice. Okay, I'll change it, but what will do me justice? Rufio with a cowboy hat?
Gotta buy one or edit one on. Edit one. I got other hats, but not a cowboy one. Do I remember Mater from Cars? Yes. Are you... Me? Mater? Alright. So Goofy. Do I use a notebook or an Anki? Anki for flashcards. You're Mater from Cars? Okay. You're that type of car? Oh, yes. Okay. Okay. I gotcha. Low-key, I would like to be... I kind of want to be the king guy. The one who... He's like, I'm a family man, and I just got tailspun by Chuck, and Lightning McQueen is going to help me to the finish line. Like, he's got good vibes, you know? I would be that car. You're one of the cars that does the pit stops? That's an excellent choice. How did we end up on this topic? It was because I sound like a car. Yeah, I'm remembering now. I love to talk to chat, and sometimes I'll say something, and then you guys will say something, and then I have, like, short-term memory loss, and I'm like, what are we talking about? So, I'm sorry when I do that. Should we do some interview questions? At the top of chat, you can click on this. It's the Banky, and it's got behavioral interview questions. Yours will be significantly smaller on your screen than this will be. I just had to have it be bigly, so that we could all see it. And then right here, these are I've already answered them. We're going to be changing them if needed. If not, just fucking leave that shit. See, you're pure distraction. Just say the keyword and I'll be a competent, normal, boring man. Never do it. Never do that. I would much rather y'all be entertaining than boring. What software? This is Anki. So Anki is a flashcard software where it will like do words. Repeated. It will repeat it for you according to an algorithm. There's a word for that. Repetition. Spaced repetition. Thank you. I haven't looked at these in years though. Thanks, Lark. Oh, sorry. I thought someone redeemed something, but we didn't. Okay. You prefer the app versus the website? I didn't know there was a website. Like the app on the phone? Okay. Gotcha. Yeah, I have used it on my phone, but I'm really bad at actually doing it. Show some of your Anki cards. You're looking at one. So, in the past, I said, the question is, give me an example of a project or initiative that you started on your own. It can be a non-business one. And what prompted you to get started? Without me actually, like, I've seen a little bit of what I wrote, but I can name this one off the dome. When I was in college, I worked with the Native American tribe of the area to help preserve their language because there are only 20 speakers left. However, most of the language was stuck in, like, it was written down, but it was written down in an inaccessible international phonetic alphabet. And it wasn't accessible to people outside the direct community where they have access to books. My idea was to make an online talking dictionary that would allow it to bring it into the modern era where you can access it from anywhere in the world, so on the internet. But also, the online talking dictionary would be such that in a way you could look up a word like, for example, hi. You'd look it up. You'd see how it's written. And if you're like, I don't actually know how to say that, that's okay, because then you can click a button that has a soundbite that I made of 4 years from recordings of an elder where she says the word Mike, and then it's not so confusing how it's pronounced, and you can read it at the same time. You have to go. You hope you can be back before the stream ends. Be nice and kind, y'all. See you later. Thanks for hanging out. So that's let's see what I said. When I was in college, I wanted to learn the Native American language of the area you were studying in. True. You joined a Southern Paiute learning class. It began just as trying to learn the language and morphed into a preservation project. I decided that a concrete way in which I could help was by making an online talking dictionary. After 5 years of working with the band on the tribe and developing my web development skills, I was able to do that. So I did not just say that. What I said was different actually than that in content. So that's interesting. Both are true. What we want these questions to look like or to follow is cause, action, result. What was the problem? What did you do to fix the problem? And what was the result of the problem being fixed? If we look at this, we identified the problem, which was that there's an online talking dictionary, or no, we didn't even identify the problem, not really. Because the problem is the language needs to be preserved and accessible. The action would be, I made an online talking dictionary to help do that. The result would ideally be, and they use it now. They don't use it now because I haven't shared it. But either way, this is what I have actually said in interviews, and it worked fine. We're not going to leave it. It's not very good. The problem could be that there were no resources. Not even that, though. So the situation is that there were resources. Southern Paiute is actually one of the best preserved Native American languages in the U.S. However, it's preserved in this big-ass book written in an old international phonetic alphabet. And tribal members look at this book and they say, bro, I don't know how to read that. What is that even saying to me? And then they don't learn it because they can't read it. They can't, it's all this academic mumbo jumbo and not even up to date IPA. And so they don't learn it because it's so inaccessible. That's the problem. You like that my response reflects my values, perspectives, abilities, and impactful response. Yeah, so let's rewrite this. Okay. So Anon, you said the problem could be that the resources weren't accessible to everyone, and I tried to make it accessible to everyone, and not just academics. But actually, regarding the last part, what was the impact? So that's a great question, because there hasn't really been an impact because I haven't shared it yet. I did share it at there was a couple years ago, there was a conference for the Southern Paiute language that we did, and I had it ready to share with people there, and I did share it with a couple people. I shared it with the elder, for example, but I haven't widely shared it with the band or the tribe yet. So what is the impact? Could I do what I would like the impact to be? Or could the impact be, and I brought it into, or I made it more accessible by making it a website that anyone could access anywhere in the world? I shared it with you on stream, and you say that you've been pretty impacted personally. Well, first of all, that's great. I'm so glad to hear that. Language preservation is so important. I digress, though. But it really is. I'm actually just, this is one of my things that it bums me out, and it also is something I care a lot about. It bums me out because I don't feel like I'm not the only one trying to save the language, but I don't feel like I can save it. Anyway, you expect that it'll be impactful, but your conservative approach might be significant considered you wanted it to be considered by elders and perhaps for getting feedback. Yeah, and the feedback I got actually wasn't that great because she's 80 something and doesn't understand how the internet works, and she wanted a book out of it. I didn't make a book, I made a website, and so I showed her the website and she was like, I don't know what this is, Yeah, we need to work on this project a little more. I need to have a co-studying stream where you work on your thing, I work on mine, and I make the cuts through these big files and I add them to the system. Because when we look at it right now, I need to do this as well. It's not HTTPS. When you look for something, something's not going to show up because there are like 5 things in it. So you can see what's in it by clicking the glossary. So you got this one right. Like I was saying, how do you say that? Gacha mororoi naramavamap. And what does it mean? It means you cannot be lazy. However, you can see what's here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 terms. Do better, Rufio. Do better. Thank you. Hey, Ahmed, how are you? Something I actually was thinking about is I would love to first of all, I would love to make this website more accessible. I don't think it's accessible. I would love to make it an app on the phone. And I would also love to make a general framework that any language could use as a talking dictionary, like open source to preserve their language, so that like a CRM, like you can pick how it's built, sure, and how it looks, but generally you can add in all the stuff and it can be for your specific language. How many terms are left? So the thing is, we did 4 hours of speaking Southern Paiute per week for 3 years. That many terms. So I actually have to go through each of the recordings and I have to cut them up. And sadly, it's not as simple as all that, because though my own comprehension of not Indonesian, thank you, Paiute is improving, it is not great. So for example, when we see kacang mororoi naramavamap, I know that kacang is negation. I know that the M at the end of kacang means you. I don't know what in the rest of this means lazy. Like, and a lot of it will be like that. Like, I would talk to the elder and I'd be like, okay, so you just said kacang mororoi naramavamap. What is lazy? What's the word for lazy? She's like, I don't know. I never learned this formally. And I'm like, okay, what is not? And she's like, I don't know. And so a lot of it is I have to learn it personally myself, or alternatively, Southern Ute is a pretty similar language, and they have a linguist that wrote it out in a book. And if I read through the book and learn the grammar of Southern Ute, I think it's pretty similar to Southern Paiute and will increase my own comprehension of it. And I think that would help a lot. However, I have to read the book. I'd have to memorize those things, and then I have to go through these recordings. I have to cut them up into word sentences and phrases depending on what I understand. And then I've got to call my Paiute grandma, the elder, and be like, hey, if I say manokos, what does that mean? And get a nailed down what that means from her. And then I have to figure out how to write it in IPA and write it in the alphabet that my friend has made for it. So there's a lot. You're kind of crying on my behalf. We can always do better, but thank you for being human, being courageous and vulnerable with us on where you are with it. Yeah, I mean, I like to be honest, right? Is this the only site that has the Paiute language? It's the only site that has the Southern Paiute language. Yes. I think. The splicing and editing sounds like a repetitive process ideal for some level of automating. Yeah, I mean, do you have any ideas? So I can't even remember what software I use now. It's probably somewhere in my computer. And it would just be you make a cut before and you make a cut after and you make sure it's a good one, and then you export it and export it as a WAV file. Do you know any better softwares that could automate that for me? I mentioned that there was an existing dictionary too, right? Yes. Yes. Oh, thank you. I'm so bad at writing. Southern Paiute. ¿Cómo se llama? ¿Cómo se llama? It's this one. It's not going to show it for me because I got to log in. You know you want to show me something in here. Here, I'll drop this in the chat if you want to look at it yourself. The problem with going through this is I'd also have to go through this, and then it's not written. So modern linguistics, things are written in IPA, International Phonetic Alphabet. When Edward Sapir was writing this, he was writing it in the IPA of the time, which has changed. So I'd also have to learn old IPA. I know this is so not what we were doing. I apologize. There's so much to think about with this, and I haven't touched it for years, and the language continues to die, and the elders continue to die, and I need to work on it. I need to do it, and I need to get it out to the Paiutes, and we need to preserve the language, and I need to do better than I'm doing. And then sometimes I feel really hopeless about it. You're thinking of maybe using a software like Audacity that allows APKs and making one of those. What is an APK? To scan and clip and sort each distinctive element. Audacity. Okay. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I would love to check it out. Anything to make it easier would, lower the barrier of actually doing it, and that would be good. So, that's the project. That's the project I still kind of want to answer for this question. You remember people using Audacity when making RuneScape music videos? My God. But it's a legit software. Yeah, it said open source, right? So, we want to do car, okay? We're going to erase this, don't worry. Cause. What is the problem? Action. What did you do to solve it? Result. What was the result of you solving it? Okay? That is what our answer should answer. So, the problem, API. Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah, I'll have to look more into it. Or maybe we should have just a whole stream where we just look into it. The problem is Southern Paiute. So we have several problems. Southern Paiute needs to be preserved. Southern Paiute needs to be more accessible. Which one do we do? Is it that I'm working on preserving it, or is it that I'm working on making it more accessible to anyone who wants to try and learn it? You guys know I have cubital tunnel syndrome. So a pinched nerve right here in each of my elbows. What does it mean to preserve a language? That is a good question. For me, preserving a language means making it accessible to people, having the sound preserved so it's pronounced correctly, and having it written down. Somewhere where people can find it and they can learn from it and they can hear it. Making it more accessible. Buzzwords can help with making recruiters smile. Okay. Is not accessible. So that's the cause. What did I do to solve it? Made an online talking dictionary. What was the result of me solving it? And then this is where I'm a little tripped up, because what is the result of me solving it? I haven't shared it with the tribe. I mean, in theory, it is more accessible. People can find it on the internet. If we type in Southern Paiute Dictionary, does it show up? It does. First page. Would like to change that. I don't necessarily need this to be here. I should have done this. Well, interesting. And then there's the Northern Paiute Language Project, which is a different language, by the way. I can't. What if I just click Paiute Dictionary? Then it doesn't show up. So that's something to work on. What about for yourself, first of all? So you're saying that I could say the impact it's had on me? Add a favicon? Yeah. Try and DuckDuckGo. I don't know, I didn't just enter. Paiute Dictionary. No, same. So if they're specifically looking for Southern Paiute, then it comes up first try, but it would be nice to have it show up better. Yeah, this is not the best, is it? It's gotta look something like that. I don't know. I like this. I like that people could just go, bloop, you know? What? Like the problem, there are different levels and layers. So starting with yourself can be one, and another with anyone you've worked with in the tribe or community, and then the broader public. Personally, you think you should try and measure the impact it had on other people, not on myself. Right. The problem is I don't think it has had an impact on other people. But in theory, if I shared it with them, it could. So the impact could be now it's accessible for any tribal members or anyone who would like to learn the Southern Paiute language on the internet. How's that? You think that's good? Now it's accessible for anyone who would like to learn the language on the internet, tribal or otherwise. Because the thing is, any of you could go to that website right now and learn the 6 terms in Paiute. Any of you could. Binky Brunch can help refine it a bit more too. Right. This is our first pass. I just wanted this to be up so people could see it. Let's do this again, actually. So we want it to be pretty concise because we want to be able to extrapolate if asked. As we did here in chat, you guys were like, "Wait, what?" And then I went off because I have so much to say, right? The Southern Paiute language has been preserved in books but is not accessible on the internet. To solve this issue, I made an online talking dictionary where you can see the words and hear them as well. Now, if anyone wants to learn the language or look up terms, wants to look up terms in the language. Then now if anyone in the tribe or otherwise wants to look up terms in the language, they can look up the website. How does that sound? Is it like blah for something that is a good thing? You agree, but was trying to better understand what I learned in the process. So we want the cause, we want the action, we want the result. Do you think it would be better for me to say something about like what I learned? Or to say more than just this? Because the thing is, like, say that you asked me, oh, we didn't answer this actually. What prompted me to get started? What prompted me to get started? Well, I wanted to learn the Southern Paiute language. Is that not necessarily for a hiring interview, but trying to understand my process. Understanding the why helps too. What was my why? I wanted to help preserve the language because it's dying. Should I say that? Has less than 20 speakers left and is dying. Is endangered. It has been preserved in books but is not accessible on the internet. To make it more accessible and to help preserve it, why not another language? It was the Native American language of the area I went to university in. And I think that all languages are valuable, and I would like to, respect the Native people of the area. And because it's where I was going to college, I was like, I'm living in this area, right? I know I'm trying to restructure my response, but you're trying to understand my personal connection, which you think I just addressed. It's where I went to university. I could say that too. I just worry about it getting too clunky. I don't know. That's what my original response was this. Wait, it's not this. This was my original response, which kind of says more of what y'all are talking about. When I was in college, I wanted to learn the Native American language of the area I was studying in. True. I joined a Southern Paiute learning class. True. It began as just trying to learn the language, and then it morphed into a preservation project. Also true. A concrete way in which I could help was making an online talking dictionary. Also true. After 5 years of working with the band The Tribe and developing my web development skills, I was able to do that. Such a weak last line, though. Leon was talking about leaving room for questions. So you're saying that they could ask, like, why this language? Gotcha. So what do we think about this response? It has the cause, and it has the action I took, and it has the result, though it's kind of a weak-ass result. You feel like the past response is a bit too wordy and not focused on the things I did. Yeah. I could strengthen the result. Any suggestions? Because the thing is, it is accessible on the internet, but I haven't like told the whole tribe about it, you know. It's a partial result since implementation is still somewhat pending. But what is your desired result? My desired result is that anyone who wants to learn this language, especially tribal members, can. They can see how it's spelled so they can write it down. They can hear how it's spoken so they can speak it, you know? And that even after the elders are gone, their voices are still like preserved there. They're still like the language is still there. It still perseveres. You think that I can refine my result later on? Maybe as I show my project to other people. So just leave this result as is. If that's the case, we'll leave it and go to the next one. Right. Tell me about a time you had to work on several projects at once. How did you handle this? My previous response was, at my previous role, there were many times where a project manager would ask me to work on one thing, and then customer service would add on other projects to my list of things to do. I handled this by clarifying with both teams as to what amongst the various tickets was the most urgent thing for me to be doing. By clarifying with everyone involved, I was able to finish the most urgent items first before working on the others. So what this refers to is not actually software engineering. This refers to property management, actually, which is ironic because that's actually what I do now. It's always coming back to bite me. Time I had to work on several projects at once. How did I handle this? At my old job, you used to do property management. You loved it. You loved it? Really? I mean, no shame, but I wish I loved it. I hate it. It's very stressful. You were so good at it. Well, it was for Airbnbs. Any advice? Does my experience from my previous software engineering role warrant an update to this response? I don't think I could come up with a better one because at my old role, you know, I worked on like one or two tickets at a time. You know, we did agile. It was like, Rufio, this is what you're gonna work on today. Give us an update tomorrow. Like, are you done with it? Here are some other tickets you've been assigned to, but this one is the priority, right? So I wasn't really working on multiple projects at a time. So we could leave this as is, except for like just refine it a little bit, maybe. So I think it's not really clear what I'm saying here. Like, what was the question even when I'm reading this? Talk about your process and how you clarified and decided what was important. You don't know how you feel about the result portion. Yeah. So the situation was that, and I used bougie words for this, right? The landlord would be like, we really need to do this apartment. And then the assistant manager who is not in line with the landlord would be like, we need to work on this instead. And then I personally would be like, well, I think that it's kind of a mix, you know, like I see some things that neither of you have mentioned that need to be worked on, you know. This question is looking at how you organize and solve problems. So try to show that. How I organize and solve problems. So I said I would clarify. So how do I organize? I would determine what was the most important thing to be getting, what the most important thing was to achieve based on my higher ups' feedbacks and goals. How did you triage their priorities based on a quadrant of urgent and important? These are good questions, y'all. You're doing a great job. Yeah. How did I do that? It was... So if we take like an example, let's say an apartment would be vacant and I needed to turn the apartment around. However, there were also other apartments that were vacant. What made one apartment take priority over the other, especially when the landlord himself was pretty freaking shitty at determining that? It was determined by whether we had someone for the unit or how in demand the unit was. Through my allocation of resources and prioritization, I was able to complete tasks at a much more efficient rate and improve productivity by 10%. What I want to know is how do people get these percentages? I could say that I utilized communication strategies where I consulted both parties to agree on what task item was deemed more important versus another task item, and I tackled things like that. All right. I want to wait a second. I just got to open up my notepad because I don't have enough space for this. It's for everything I want to do. I just didn't know where it would pop up. Oh. All right. You're doing this yesterday. You'd put your thoughts and words into ChatGPT. You asked it to ask you clarifying questions, and it helped you rewrite how you speak, but building a solid foundation. That's an idea. I always overly lean on ChatGPT or AIs, and so I want to try to avoid it at least initially, because I feel like I'll just be like, all right, what you said was great, babe. Let's just go with that. So I just want to see what you guys are saying. I'm going to copy a bunch of the things that y'all are saying. So this is this, okay? We're just going to make this a little smaller so that we can fit it, but hopefully you all can still read it. Hopefully it's big enough, okay? We said this question is trying to look at how you organize and solve problems. So many things that y'all are saying to me that are good. You can measure this stuff quantitatively by measuring the amount of tasks you're able to do previously before this restructuring and then afterwards. And what if this was 5 bajillion years ago and there's no way I could tell that at this point? What was the question? Several projects at once. Take your best guess. So we want the cause, project manager, and customer service, both through different tasks, projects at me. I needed to determine which ought to be done first, right? The action, Anon said, consulted both parties to agree on what task item was more important. You can consider what the consequences would be if the priorities were improperly executed, like how much money would be lost. So if we're talking about turning around an apartment, if it doesn't get rented, you're losing what? I don't know. It depends on the apartment, but let's say like $1,500 a month, right? However, like it needs to be ready for a tenant to move in. If it's not ready, the tenant can't move in. You're losing $1,500 a month, right? And there's more than that if it's multiple apartments. Like if dabbling amongst multiple apartments is making it so you can't finish and rent one, then you're losing more than that, right? So maybe it should be improper management led to losing not budget, income, improper management, mixed priorities and tasks led to losing income, losing profits. Thank you. Ow, my elbow. Okay. And then we consulted management relevant parties in management to prioritize tasks and complete them. Result. Let's say that the result, this is a theoretical thing, but at the same time, it's happened a lot. So, result was, like if the result was we were able to turn around apartments quicker because we actually streamlined the process and then got money. Could we get a percentage by if there are 35 units, and let's pretend that they all make $1,500, right? Theoretically, that's $50,000 a month, right? Wait, why am I doing this math? I'm saying, my brain is saying that if we could quantify in a percentage how much, like, the $1,500 would be proportionally, then I can say we raised profits by that much, right? To discuss different priorities of the various tasks and see which ones could receive higher priority in the task queue. That's what you did with your property management description? You like quantified it based on what I just said? Hi Bart, how are you? So you're saying Yours was something like earning the company 180K. So would you do a percentage or would you do a number like that? To discuss different priorities of the various tasks. Consulted relevant parties in management regarding specific tasks and see which ones ought to receive higher priority in the task queue. QE. You're physically and mentally well, but you're very frustrated because you don't know enough about electronics to be able to buy the correct components to repair a thing that broke. How are you? That sucks. Have you talked to AI about it? I think it might be helpful. The result was raised profits by, all right, help me with my math. If it earns 50 that much per month, and straight up, if I just divide this by 1,500, it's gonna 35%. No way. 3.35%? Is this? I'm not good at math. One apartment at 1,500 a month with $50,000 basically being brought in a month. What percentage is that of the property? Help me with my math. The freaking word problems are coming back to haunt me. Thank you, Bard. I'm just going to go with that. How did you do that? Please explain your math to me. 2.85% through prioritization. 1,500 divided by 52,500 times 100. Oh, I was dividing the other way. I raised profits by 2.85% through prioritization of tasks, to prioritization and completion of tasks, effective prioritization and completion. Yeah. You're back with your tummy full. What are we doing? We are re-answering this question. Tell me about a time you had to work on several projects at once. How did you handle it? This is where we're at the moment. The cause is that improper management had mixed priorities and tasks, and that led to losing profits. What I did is I consulted the relevant parties in management regarding specific tasks to see what ones ought to receive higher priority in the task queue, and then we raised profits by 2.85% through effective prioritization and completion of tasks. By properly prioritizing tasks and allocating resources... Guys, I just realized there's no music playing. Rufio. 2.86. All right. By properly prioritizing tasks and allocating resources to the ones that need to be finished urgently compared to others. Well, the music DMCA and mute your VODs, I picked a playlist that is DMCA free. So it shouldn't. I like that.
How do we make it so it's all flows and it's not redundant? It's not my previous opportunity, it's in one of my opportunities. In a previous opportunity, you should use powerful language like consulted is weak. But I talked to the parties. I did that. What would you say instead? In a previous opportunity, mixed priorities in management led to losing profits. Mixed. I resolved this by meeting with relevant. I led a meeting with both parties. What if it wasn't a meeting with both of them at once? It was like I talked to each of them. Self-snitching? I'm not self-snitching anything. Okay, fine. By leading a meeting with both managed parties in management. Thank you for the stretch, Lark. I'll stretch my legs too. Big old stretch. Okay. Thank you. So I led a meeting with both parties in management to cement priorities. No, I don't want to say priorities again. Cement. You saw a 100K bonus stream reward. Was that always there? No, I added that somewhat recently. You like consultant, other phrases are too cliched or contrived. You have 90K? No way. I was like, 100K is probably too much. I don't think anyone's gonna get 100K. You only have 10 more, technically. 10K more. Hi, Pumpkin. Today we are going through previous behavioral questions for the interview process that I have. I've already gotten a job in tech, and so I answered all of these, but we're reformatting and re-answering things because a lot of these, I had a job, and none of them reflect the actual software engineering job that I did have. As for this problem, we're doing, tell me about a time you had to work on several projects at once. How did you handle this? And the answer to this question isn't actually the software engineering role that I had. It's something else. But we're in the end stages of answering this question. I bring them together, listened to their pleads, and made the decision. Be powerful with the language. Isn't cement a powerful word? I resolved this by leading a meeting with both parties in management to cement which tasks would receive higher priority in the task queue. It was like concrete, it is. But like the word itself, because it means like concrete, it means something that's like set in stone. It's like something that's very firm. Concrete is stronger than cement. But you can't say to concrete the task with tasks. I concreted a task from both parties. It sounds weak. Chat, does cement sound weak? I think cement sounds strong. Set in stone, but set in stone has a slightly different implication, which is it doesn't change. Coordinated with managers and implemented value-based prioritization. All right, I like it. I resolve this by, does leading a meeting or coordinating with managers sound better? Is stone stronger than cement? I think so, actually. Leading always. Leading a meeting in both parties and management to an implemented value-based prioritization. But the problem with saying implemented value-based prioritization is that, like, it's missing what I did to solve it, which was, like, I sat with them in a meeting, theoretically, and told them, or we determined which tasks were important. Do we not like this sentence? Is that what we're saying? No problem, Bard. Just imagine you're the supreme leader of yours and everyone's life. What is everyone doing in chat today? Because I'm about to tell you what to do. So every middle management supervisor ever then? Yep. It's a game and the points don't matter, yada yada. You're right. Through doing this? Is that what you say? Through? This raised profits by 2.6%. How do we say this? My decision raised profits. This resulted in resources being correctly allocated and tasks finished. Your decision raised profits. I want to add that to this raising profits by 2.86%. What about that? Yes? No? Yuck? You like that? You hate corpo talk so much. What are you talking about? You don't talk like this to your children? Not as bad as lawyer talk, but still. I just want to say, y'all, that as fire as this is, I still pass behavioral interviews with answers like this. Just so you know. What about raise profits by 5%? Yeah, why not? I mean, it's all made up in the end, right? It's a round number and looks more impressive. It's all a game. The rules are made up. The points don't matter. Right. You always talk to your children about how they can better optimize their workflow, raising profits by 5%. As do I. Kidfio talks like that. Indeed. Thank you for using Kidfio. Yeah, Kidfio is the newest emote. It's me when I was like a 3-year-old. Weak. They should aim for 25% each quarter, and they sleep in the shed for a month if they fall short by 5%. We have standards for our children. So, let's do it before and after. Tell me about a time you had to work on several projects at once. How did you handle this? What I said before was, at my previous role, there were many times when the project manager would ask me to work on one thing, and then customer service would add other projects to my list of things to do. I handled this by clarifying with both teams as to what amongst the various tickets was the most urgent thing for me to be doing. By clarifying with everyone involved, I was able to finish the most urgent items first before working on the others. Have a look at my Twitch avatar. That's me at 23 months. But what do you mean? Are
children should go from Kid Fio to Chad Fio to Dark Rufio. The Kid Fio emote is basically doing that emote because she realized how much profit admin lost from not choosing Jira for the task management protocol. You're right. She knew it at 3 years old. Switching to, in a previous opportunity, mixed priorities in management led to losing profits. I resolved this by leading a meeting with both parties in management to cement which tasks would receive higher priority in the task queue. This resulted in resources being correctly allocated and tasks finished, raising profits by 5%. Wow, that is disgustingly good. Disgusting, but disgustingly good. Oh, I like it, Surly. Perfecto. Beso del chef. Oh, I see what you're saying, Surly. This is you when you were 23 months old. You're so cute. Babies, man. Look at those cheeks. And the hat. I still am, even at 53. Do you still have the hat? I like it, and by liking, I mean my empty heart loves it. Tell me this is not what you would say to someone you're dating. You're on a date with someone. And they're like, so tell me about yourself. Well, in a previous opportunity, mixed priorities in management led to losing profits. I resolved this by leading a meeting with both parties in management to cement which tasks would receive higher priority in the task queue. This resulted in resources being correctly allocated and tasks finished, raising profits by 5%. How about you? Tell me about yourself. That would be a fire starter. Imagine using that as a pickup line. Imagine using this as a pickup line. So, tell me about a time you had to work on several projects at once. How did you handle that? What does your third quarter look like? Tell me how you prioritize tasks in your life. Gorgeous. If they can't handle my cringe, the girls will definitely line up, girls and boys. Her prioritizing workflows brings all the CEOs to the yard. Oh my god. Are we adults? Is this adult humor? I think it's funny, to be sure, but holy shit. When did we become this way? So what is your biggest dream in life? To maximize all profits in order to satisfy the investors. No. Okay. Just a little side. We're gonna just do a little side digression here, okay? What is something someone would say on a first date? So tell me. No, they would say, so tell me about yourself. No. Okay, we gotta pick something else. What do you like to do for fun? Chat, answer what you like to do for fun in a job interview formatting. Maybe we've always been like this. We have not. We absolutely have not. Where do you see yourself in 5 years? Yes. Where do you see yourself in 5 years? Cause, action, result. What is the cause? You can't have a cause for that, can you? But really, what do you do for fun, chat? Tell me. What is fun? Wrong answer. We've broken up now. I determined that I wasn't having proper amounts of fun in my adult life. I determined that I wasn't having proper levels. I determined that I wasn't maximizing the fun quotient that I could achieve in my day-to-day life. To resolve this issue, I made a list of all the things that I found enjoyable and categorized them further by determining which ones were profitable and raised profits in my life by 35%. You hate the what you do for fun question. Well, now you can answer it like that. My idea of fun, existing. You're having a blast just existing. Low key, if that's true though, that's awesome.
How come no one is answering my question? I answered it beautifully, I think. Fun quotient. I love collecting things, learning all there is about them, creating spreadsheets with every single factoid I learned using pivot tables. And what was the result on your life, Bard? I didn't answer yours? Right. Where do I see myself in 5 years? That's a great question. I determined that I didn't quite have a 5-year plan. And so to resolve this, I sat down and made a list of all the things that I could be doing in 5 years and what I could do to maximize my own personal career and earning potential. Then I picked a career based on that, and I'm now earning 160% more than I was 5 years ago. And I intend on earning 160% more 5 years from now. The result of that, I'm single. Alright, my idea of fun is creating Excel documents that track quarterly expenses. You know you're an adult when you've got like a budget software and then you reconcile your own books and you're like, yes, all my money is accounted for. Now I can budget my next month ahead so I can make sure that all my money is equally distributed to every area it's needed in life and perhaps save a certain amount every month. Gorgeous. This is adulthood. It would be really funny to actually do that in a date, though. I don't know what they would say. They'd be like, nice. Done. Bye. And here I thought I was an adult when I started taking out loans to pay off other loans. Oh no. Relatable. I mean, actually, I'm not adult enough to ever have taken out a loan. I'll get there someday. If there's any child on stream, don't become an adult. It's like a trap. Just stay a child forever like Child Fio. If there's any child here on stream, hey, you should be in school right now, actually. Go to school. I swear too much for you to be here, and I promise you what we're talking about will bore you to tears. You meant I'm not stupid enough to take it out alone. I meant I'm privileged enough that I haven't had to take out a loan. I swear, when? I've been swearing, haven't I? I actually swear significantly less than I used to on stream. But I've been worrying about it, actually. Like, do I swear too much on stream? I come from a culture where you're not allowed to swear. So when I decided I wanted to swear, I really went overboard. And now I think I'm probably leveling out. I haven't a single time since I've discovered you. Okay. What the fuck do you want from me? Is that a how would I say it? Having to do job questions can be kind of shitty because why do we have to do shit like this? That's the first time. Rescinded. What do you want from me? You want to hear me say? What are some other words I could say that I haven't said? Fuck, shit. How come I can only remember 2 swear words? What the hell? Hey, there we go. Also, you didn't mean it. None of vitriol in your voice. Work in customer support for a while in order to build that hatred of humanity. I'm listing all the swears I know. This is great. You have very colorful vocabulary too. So I had someone tell me a couple years ago, they're like, look, Rufio, you swear, but you've got like the most like childlike voice and it's so soft and you speak so kindly and then you'll just be speaking kindly and softly and suddenly you'll just say fuck and it's like that doesn't belong in your vocabulary. Your voice is not built for that. You disagree? Tell me more. My soft voice is built for that. It's like hearing Snow White Curse of a Storm. Gorgeous. Yes. I'm wishing. Oh, I can't. I'm a little sick to sing. I'm gonna keep trying to. For the one I love. Swearing is worldwide cultural heritage. Everyone can swear. It depends. I won't do it around children. You feel differently. You feel my voice is perfect for the swears. Because it's soft? To find me today. Today. She's got like a weird vibrato. She's like, oh, 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 oh. I can't go higher than that at the moment. Grumpy would be taking notes. That was Grumpy. The seven dwarfs would be like, you always thought that too? Yeah, it's so interesting. Snow White's a real creepy star when you think about it. She's like a freaking 14-year-old. Like, Germans! Germans, what are you doing? If there are Germans here. I'm not meaning that offensively, but you guys have some fairy tales. How did we even get on this? Describe a situation in which you felt you had not communicated well enough. What did you do and how did you handle it? Do you know where the adjective grim came from? Or that's where it came from? Yeah, the Grimm brothers. This is Lark's. I'd identified a critical stakeholder experiencing, in response to what you do for fun. I identified a critical stakeholder experiencing a severe fund deficit time, which led to a downturn on gross profits. So I executed a hands-on, high-stakes stakeholder changing digital simulation to reallocate virtual resources. Morale metrics surged, and several days of nonprofit were successfully restructured out of existence. In other words, you like to play video games. That was gorgeous. 10 out of 10. Take that on a date. Hired as a significant other. You're still single though. How can you be single when that's what you say what you do for fun? CEO wants to take you on a date now. You're catering to a very specific audience, you know? You date the CEOs and that's what you say when that's what you've done for fun. He's about to slide in your DMs. Being single is fun. Yeah, everyone's got a different. Yeah, why not? You'll take a CEO downturn profits. Low-key, I'd date a CEO for the profits. Did I just say? I don't know. At the same time, though, I feel like there are certain things in life, like if I dated someone who's rich or whatever, I don't know if I'd be able to handle it because then they go to really expensive restaurants and then like my upraising, I'd be like, bro, we do not need to spend this much money on food. Let's go get shitty Mexican food. Like, come on now. Like, it's just as good. What are we talking about? I don't think I could handle it. Dating a CEO sounds like a very bad 50 Shades of Grey story. Don't do that to yourself. First date, McDonald's. Or like people who get like designer stuff. I don't get it. Like if it's a handbag, they're so ugly. Come on now. Or my cousin for her wedding, she wore like I don't know, it was a designer necklace and it was like pearl, and then it had like GC, whatever one that is. And then she had those as earrings. And I was like, look, I get we're flashing our wealth a little bit, but at the same time, they're ugly. That's ugly. Wear a prettier necklace. Wear better earrings. Choose beauty, not wealth. Wait, I gotta blow my nose. I'm gonna. You didn't need that ASMR. Let yourself have the caviar. I don't know if I'd eat caviar. That sounds so gross. Fish eggs? It's a status move. You're not a fan either. I just don't get it. I don't care. I don't care. It's like, sure, you have a very expensive something. I don't care. I care if it's pretty or not, though. You only spend money on tech stuff. Everything else you own is cheapo brand. You only buy clothes once they look bad or have holes. I thought we were about to see Dark Rufio again. Would you like to? It's very salty and totally not worth it. Yeah, it's like... Again, how did we get on this topic? But seriously, if you do like designer stuff, more power to you. I don't understand. I would rather spend money on other things. Yeah. Like you could have like a bag that's got like it's got like the cross, like the diagonal patterns, and then it's got like the little symbols, and it's like tan, like light tan and brown, and that's what those bags look like. Or you could have a bag that's fuchsia, and it could be beautiful, and it would be beautiful. Okay, wait a second. You are gonna see Dark Review because on this topic, I got something. Okay, would you rather have a Gucci bag or this? Oh my god, colors. It's beautiful. It's handmade. It's from Colombia. My brother got it for me. Colors. Oh my god, this bag is so much better. I love colors. Look how beautiful this bag is. Thank you. Thank you for admiring it. I would take this, I'd literally take this over a like $10,000 bag any day. Any day. So, being pretty is better than being rich, I guess. You like designer stuff. It's stuff designer made by you. That's awesome. That would be very cool. What would you spend money on? And how do you feel that optimizes workflows? This is now an interview question, keeping us on track. How could you maximize profits while spending money? Hi, Hanu, how are you? You love the green or teal in that. Yeah. It's actually more vibrant than it's like showing up on camera, I feel like. Maybe it's the same colors. I feel like this lighting is not the best for it. This is kind of greenish teal and this is turquoise. This is a bright yellow, like lighter fuchsia. Yeah. Late night coding. Is it a new hobby? Is this a new hobby? Or what? Theoretically, Hanu, we're actually doing behavioral interview questions. I just got sidetracked on a bag? On designer handbags? How did I start talking about designer handbags? I don't care enough to talk about them. Is it rich? It's pretty, but is it rich? Fair enough. We hated on Corpo Talk, and then that led to somehow dating CEOs, right? Dating rich people. Yeah. What? That's the cool thing about like conversation is that it just flows in so many different directions. Why are we doing behaviorals? Well, for several different reasons. One, I need to update my behavioral questions
If you check the top of chat, you can click the Anki, and there's a bunch of behavioral questions for tech or probably just generally. So you can be better at interviewing when you do interview. I haven't updated any of my questions since I got my job in software engineering. So I just wanted to go through these and update them. And if people need help, we can help. Mostly I've just been getting help. Isn't that how it goes? On Friday, you have an interview. Oh my goodness, tell us about it. Maybe that's some sign from God? It's one of my names. Side quests are awesome. One thing led to another, and then we shit in DG handbags. Oh, shit on them. Shit in them or shit on them? Because what are we doing with handbags? My God. Important distinction. What do you do if you're neither pretty nor rich? Acquire one, I guess. I hope at least one of our interviews has this dating CEO's topic. Wait. One of our interviews has this dating CEO's topic come up organically. Yeah, I was practicing interviewing, and then we talked about how you would date a CEO. If they were like down to chat, that actually would be pretty good. I hear it's very expensive though. All right. Describe a situation in which you felt you had not communicated well enough. What did you do and how did you handle it? I actually did update this one. And I'm really glad we're doing this on stream because in the 100 devs huddle yesterday, I was thinking about how I would answer this question. Where are the questions? If you go to the top of chat, Lark has pinned check out the Anki, and that's where I'm getting all of these questions. Exactly. Money always. So you need to be rich to be beautiful. Honestly, you see like these what are they called? Celebrities. And the reason why they are often the way they are is because they have a lot of money to look that way. Legit. The rest of us are just peons that are scraping by. So this is a question where I need to answer it so I'm not actually the problem. That we answered this one on the 100 Devs Huddle yesterday for someone. I'm not a peon. That's what you think. Does anyone here make $1 million a year? If not, you're a peon. NPC. We're just NPCs in the billionaires' lives. We're not even though. I hear they have a very close social circle. They don't really interact with the populace. Okay, you win this time, Rich Rufio. I wish I earned $1 million a year. Orc peon, human peasant. $1 million, what is this, 2002? Please, today's at least 100 million. You know, I am so far from that $1 million sounds like incredible to me. I mean, I'm sure to everyone here, like, that's more than I could ever hope of ever earning. $1 million a year? Eat the rich. You can't even buy a house for $1 million. You can't even buy a house. Rich Vio. Surround yourself with the people you want to be like. Does anyone know any ultra rich people we can surround ourselves with so that we can, I don't know, network basically? I'm close to getting $1 million in Monopoly money. Hell yeah. That's the closest any of us will get, let's be honest. So, with this question, when I was working in my last job, here, I'll just read it out to you and then I'll extrapolate. I once had a one-on-one meeting with my manager. He told me in the meeting that he didn't know what I'd been doing for the past few weeks. He wasn't even sure I'd actually been working. I realized my mistake. I had been working on internationalization for a large part of the software, but I hadn't been communicating with him about each part I was translating as I was doing it. After that, I made sure to over-communicate. I told him what I was doing each day and asked lots of questions to make sure he knew exactly what I was doing so we could work more effectively as a team. Low-key, I think this was the beginning of the end for me in my software engineering job. This situation right here. because I was tasked with being in charge of the internationalization of our application, like adding Spanish in, because I have some Spanish skills. And it was like a PIP. Like, he PIP'd me. He's like, what are you even doing? Like, I don't even know if you're working. I'm not seeing anything from you, because it was such a big project that there wasn't really incremental tickets type of thing. And it was my first grown-up job, so I didn't know that you were supposed to like communicate so much, and so I was just kind of doing it. And as a consequence, he thought I low-key wasn't even working. And I was like, bro, I am working. And then, like I said, like, I would be like, I'm doing this today. I'm doing this today. You can see this. You can see this. And I'm talking to people about it. Like, I'm making sure to talk about it. Yeah. I really do think, looking back on it, right here, this, let's use my other hand. This was the moment that I was fucked. Communication seems to be the key to almost everything in life. How I should be answering this question should be where I am not the problem, though. Because you want to have, like, solved a problem without being the problem, from what I understand. And I am absolutely the problem here. So, is there any way I can change this situation so it doesn't look like I'm the problem? Like, could I say, my manager didn't think I was, I don't know. Or should I just pick something else? You feel they're asking about accountability and self-awareness. Okay. Asking about accountability and self-awareness. Pick something else. I'm trying to think of something else that someone else could have done where I look like the awesome person here. These questions aren't about being vulnerable, but just selling yourself. I mean, this is what I was saying, being like super honest. Like, this is an honest answer. Like, he didn't think I was doing anything. I tried to fix it. Didn't end up being enough, but I mean, I say that, and at the same time, after that, I would check in all the time. Like, are you okay? Am I meeting the goal? Like, I'm meeting the goals we're setting out. And they're like, yeah, you're doing so much better. We're super happy with your work. Also, now we're laying you off. Then they were, you communicate too much. I think what it was is my manager was like, Rufio's not doing anything. Rufio's not good at coding. And then even when I did, he didn't like get over that. Like, he still thought I didn't. I was doing stuff. I was. Have I heard of Anna Papalia? She talks about how to answer these questions. I have. The interviewology. A TikToker. Cross-posting though. I'll have to check her out. I want to watch her on stream, but TikTok and YouTube. I'll have to check her out on YouTube. I'm still resisting the talk. Is there, what I want to know, chat, is there any way for me to use this answer but like redeem it in a way that I sound good, or will I always sound bad? There is? Alright. If there is, let's try and do it. Cause bad communication on my part made it seem to my manager that I wasn't doing anything at work. Action.
over communicated, checked in multiple times a day with what I was doing, and broke tasks into broke overall internationalization into smaller tickets, so there was measurable progress. You can make it about learning to communicate, but also the result should be a win. It's about having a clear way you solved it and how you'd prevent this from happening in the future. Low key though, if I said this to you as an interviewer, would you be like, shit, she doesn't communicate? Would you be like, shit, she would be a bad software engineer? Result. Manager affirmed in every meeting after that how happy he was with my communication and progress on tasks. Have it be around unclear expectations on what they wanted you to do. You should always aim to maximize your wins and don't let them think bad of you even if it was in the past. Right. And that's my concern here is I think that this would make me feel like I think I would judge, you know? So, manager set unclear expectations in terms of the communication they expected from me and other engineers on the team. It might raise some suspicions, but the consistency of doing so afterwards and indication of its consequences might dispel that. You say there's a miscommunication about how they wanted you to communicate the work you were doing. Manager miscommunicated how they wanted me to expectations on how they wanted me to. You like what I had before? That's the way, blame them. Like the manager did the problem, they were the cause, you are the solution. How how does this part look in response to this? Would it rather be clarified what sort of communication they wanted regarding tickets, and then over communicated has a negative connotation, and then clarified? What would you say instead of clarified? Verified? Determined what sort of communication they wanted regarding tickets. Confirmed ticket completion and progress. Established I like that. Set up weekly meetings to establish better communications patterns. Actually, that is true. We did set up weekly meetings to communicate better. We did do that. and set up a weekly meeting to discuss overall progress. Yeah, and you did that. They didn't. They were the cause. They were evil. They actually set up the weekly meetings, but they don't know that. Overall progress. Yeah? And what about the result? Yes, they don't know that. That's it. You're perfectly evil. It's all their fault I was bad at communicating. I legit, though, just didn't know that I was supposed to be communicating as much as that. It's something that I know now, and I will do better with in the future. Over communicate, babes. I had a similar situation where my manager didn't know I was working, so you suggested one-on-one yourself, and then after a while he didn't know you were doing so much. Solid game, just remember that. They'll be throwing you under the bus in their interviews too. I had a shitty software engineer that never said what they were freaking doing. If you do what Leon says, you'll have a daily log of tasks you did, and you can present it in the future. So I actually do have a list of all of the tickets I did. I just have to, and I like wrote them down so that I could potentially use them in behaviorals in the future, but I haven't really had a situation to do that yet. A book called Unspoken Rules highlights how common those missteps are and how to overcome them. I will read that. Unspoken Rules. Thank you. It's the sad, cold, harsh, bitter, lonely, well, that's a lot of adjectives, truth of our modern commerce world. Scandalous. Yes, no to the result. By Gork. I don't know how to say his last name. Is it Who compiled this Banky document? Yeah, Koala. So I am part of 100 Devs, which is an online software engineering agency, and it does a lot of job prep in the agency. And the person in charge is Leon Noel. Leon compiled this list. Leon has a lot of experience in job prep and in software engineering. You don't know, but it's pretty common Vietnamese last name. In Indonesian, ng is like that. But it's never by itself like that. If you want to say no in Indonesian slang, you say nggak. Right. Nggak. It looks like this. And yes, iya, IYA. And then okay is okay, okay. Okay. Yeah, Koala, if you're prepping for interviews in tech, then do fill all of those out. Your behavioral questions should follow the CAR format. So what was the cause? What was the action you took? And what was the result of it? So we're setting that up right now. You can see that the cause was that the manager, for the question is, describe a situation in which you had felt you had not communicated well enough. What did you do and how did you handle it? So the manager set unclear expectations in terms of the communication they expected from me and other engineers on the team.
I established what sort of communication they wanted regarding ticket completion and progress and set up a weekly meeting to discuss overall. Ooh, progress twice. I don't like that. Progress. And then the manager affirmed in weekly meetings after that how happy he was with my communication and progress on tasks. KPIs is also a good jargon to progress in the tech world. What is a KPI? Guys, I don't want to use progress twice here. Yucky. Blah. And I imagine that we can hallucinate these cars, right? Yeah, so they don't have to even be like... They don't have to even be related to like software engineering if you don't have any experience in the field. They could be something else. So, for example, we just did this one. A time I had to work on several projects at once. This is referring to when I was... I currently am a property manager, but when I was a property manager. And what I said is, in a previous opportunity, mixed priorities and management led to losing profits. I resolved this by leading a meeting with both parties and management to cement which tasks would receive higher priority in the task queue. This resulted in resources being correctly allocated and tasks finished, raising profits by 5%. 5% is out of our asses, so. How do you say, thanks, Rufio? You say, terima kasih, Rufio. You feel kind of self-conscious using your previous experience since it's not tech related at all, and you think you'd be pulling stuff from 10 years ago. It doesn't matter. Okay. Look at this. Do you care that I got this experience from property management? Do you care? Do you feel like it makes the question less well answered? Do interviewers expect a specific kind of answer for these questions? Like, do they have a mental checklist that they go through? I think, I'm not sure, but I think they want to kind of follow the thread, and you are trying to sell yourself. You want to be able to say things where they can like take it back to someone and be like, oh yeah, Rufio, she raised profits by 5% by when she was working on several projects at once. I don't know. Like they want to hear it. It's got to be well organized in a way that they hear it and they're like, oh yeah, hell yeah. Like maybe this person is competent to do this role. You care a little, but you shouldn't. Does it sound like it's property management though? If I said that, would you think I was talking about software engineering or property management or something else? Yeah, no problem. And Koala, you should prepare the behavioral, but you should also prepare the technical. And for the technical, how you should answer it is with, I don't know how to say this, which is explanation, use, and example. What is a variable in JavaScript? Wow, this was a bad one to pick because I don't know if I can just say what a variable is. A variable is something that you can assign a value to in JavaScript. For example, if you want a value or if you want to keep track of like a contact in an email form, you can assign that to a variable. There you go. I don't know. Can I get yeah? Is that what you're saying? Oh, for the ew. How do you say you're welcome, Rufio? How do you say you're welcome in Indonesian? I think you would just say no problem, which would be gak apa, which is actually slang. It's actually tidak apa-apa, but they say gak apa. Anyway, just as an FYI, you're welcome to hang out and see how we do it. I'm not the most on track, but thanks. No more than just cantik. How did you learn cantik anyway? Cantik means pretty or beautiful in Indonesian. Insta. Oh. Can I get a hiya? We're learning Indonesian and JavaScript too. Always a little bit of both when you're on my page. I could teach Spanish theoretically, but Lark speaks much more Spanish than I do, so Lark's not asking me Spanish questions. Fluent in Spanish, my ass. You're about to add this to your resume? Can speak some Indonesian.
Elementary Indonesian. Right, babes. In my last opportunity, in my last job, my manager set unclear expectations in terms of the level of communication they expected from me. Should I say and other engineers if I never mention the other engineers again? Nothing personal, but people from India are great at making code spaghetti. What is code spaghetti? Languages: JavaScript, Python, Java, Indonesian. NBD. Java is Indonesian. You're right. Java is an Indonesian island, the most populated one, except they say Jawa. I don't want to say to resolve this every time. Consequently, I established what sort of communication they wanted in regarding ticket completion and progress, and set up a weekly meeting to discuss overall progress. You always learn so much in my stream, Ms. Rufio. Terima kasih. How do you say teacher? Guru, I think. Guru? Yeah, I think so. Guru Rufio. But they actually say, interestingly enough, Indonesians will call their teachers like mom and dad. So, for example, if I was like a guy, I'd be Bapak Rufio, which means like Dad Rufio. If I'm a girl, which I am, I'd be Ibu or Bu Rufio, like Mom Rufio. So you should call me Mommy. Please don't. Ibu Bole. You're allowed to say Ibu, but Mommy, my God. My God. Yeah, just like that. Ibu. Please no king shame. No king shaming. Just personally not mine. Alright. What does Ibu mean? Mom. Do I know what the best painkiller is? I think it depends based on, I mean, if this is a joke, what is the best painkiller? If not, depends on the pain. Different painkillers for different things. Right. Wow. Beautiful, Hanu.
Consequently, manager affirmed in weekly meetings. We're so mature in this stream. I love it. All right, how do I say this? Because I said consequently already. In the meetings thereafter. Is that weird to say thereafter? My manager affirmed how happy he was with my communication and progress on tasks. How's that? How does it sound? In my last job, my manager set unclear expectations in terms of the level of communication they expected from me. Consequently, I established what sort of communication they wanted regarding ticket completion and set up a weekly meeting with my manager to discuss overall progress. In the meetings thereafter, my manager affirmed how happy he was with my communication and progress on tasks. Affirmed is weak. Thereafter gives vibes of an Elizabethan writer from the 1800s. Definitely works. You know me, I have been alive for a couple of 100 years. So, my manager, if affirmed isn't strong enough, my manager raved about how happy he was. I don't think I should do raved. Give me a better word. So when we get asked these questions, do we first act as if we're thinking about the answer, or do we just answer? Either or. If I think it would be fine to say it, because you're gonna memorize these, but it's still just gonna it's off at the top of your head, so it's still gonna sound pretty natural. So if you, Koala, or if you ask me like what I do on stream, I haven't prepared for that question. You're like, hey Rufio, what do you do on stream? And I'd be like, yeah, so a couple years ago, I was trying to get better at streaming, and I knew that if I worked with other people, I would have a better chance at coding better. So I began streaming as an outlet for that, and I help people on stream, and I get helped by people on stream, improving my own coding skills, and have become a better coder as a result of that. I'm not going to say that was the best answer I've ever given in my life, but that was kind of off the top of my head, and you can hear that it's like, it's called like the flow. If you have but I knew what I was going to say when you asked me that question. I asked that question because I was going to answer it in a certain way, right? And that's kind of the same thing with this, is that you memorize what you say, and then when they answer it, you can be like, well, and then say it. But you don't want to be like, Should we expect that the interviewer expects us to be prepared? I think the interviewer hopes for you to be prepared. I think you have a much better chance if you are prepared. I don't know if they expect it. My manager shouted to the heavens of how happy he was. My manager told the president. The result should be something tangible, you think. Like, not how they felt, but what result they saw. Did they see less check-ins when handling long tickets? Were they able to be more candid in code reviews? Okay. My manager in the meetings thereafter, or though we ended up not having to do the meetings every week because my communication was so next level. I don't know. Gotta itch the nose. Gotta make a nose emote. How itchy my nose gets on stream. How would you explain that you want to work overtime, not because you can't keep up with your work, but because you need more money? I wouldn't say that. I would say that you're looking to improve your skills and take on additional responsibilities. I'm looking to take on additional responsibilities in my role to help improve my coding skills and to help improve the profits of the company. Something like that. That's what I would say. I think I have more to offer the company than what I'm currently giving. You like KPI better in progress. Okay, sure, KPI works, but what does it mean? Overall KPI? What does it mean? Wait, I was going to leave that up. KPI meaning. Known performance indicators. Key performance indicator. A measurable value that just demonstrates how effectively an organization is achieving key business objectives. Where did it go? Basically, what you can measure to track progress from a previous state to a current one. So is this the correct usage of it then? My manager, I want it to be tangible in the result. See less check-ins, more candid. My manager ended up reducing the amount of reducing the weekly meetings to bi-monthly because they had a much better idea of what I was doing day to day. To discuss clear KPIs, for the me and the team. What was your action that led to the result? Well, we did the action. They did nothing. They suck. I established a communication, but what was the result? The result that makes me sound awesome was there were less meetings, which is true actually. There were less meetings. They felt better about it, but like, because they had the issue, right? Shorter to the point meetings, clear boundaries when code reviewing, and daily stand-ups. You should charge me for this. You are doing this for free. No one is making you. But so this created shorter clearer boundaries in code review and daily stand-ups, but I don't feel like that flows from what I said with the weekly meeting. And better communication between my manager and I don't know. I don't know how to do this last sentence. Clear boundaries in code review and daily stand-ups. Clear boundaries in completed tasks, because they didn't do anything with code review. Completed tasks. Established. Didn't we pick established? You took initiative, you gathered them, you proposed, they accepted. It's missing something. I was not their boss, so you had to gather them. But I didn't ask them for a meeting. I set up a weekly meeting, right? Why don't I try GPT? I could. Let's start from the beginning. We liked the beginning, I thought. I thought this was beautiful except for the last sentence. Read it. Okay. In my last job, my manager set unclear expectations in terms of the level of communication they expected from me. Consequently, I established what sort of... Some people like to start at the beginning. I like to start before the beginning. The best place to start is always before starting. Consequently, I established what sort of communication they wanted regarding ticket completion and consequently, I set up a weekly meeting with my manager to discuss clear KPIs for me and the team and established what sort of communication they wanted regarding ticket completion. Maybe I should just pick one of those. Maybe I should just have this KPI thing. This created clear boundaries in completed tasks and daily stand-ups and better communication between my manager, my team, and I. Because I did actually improve my communication with the team as well, because I would tell them more. Yeah? No? Ugly? Gorgeous? I almost drank a whole liter of water. Whoa, 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 whoa. Wow, wow, wow. Wow, wow. We could ask GPT, but should we? You have to go. They put you against your will in a work meeting. All right, go, Lark. See ya. Go work. Boo, work. I don't know. I kind of actually liked software engineering as a job. Like, I liked the work. It was nice. Right then. Let me just... I feel like I don't necessarily make it into a paragraph. Well, I think that's true. This is just me trying to put it in like a way I could say it. Hey, Eagle. It's great to see you back. I'm glad to be here. We are making behavioral questions, interview question responses. And we're finishing up this one, I think. It's just not a banger of a last line there. Why am I the coolest ever? This resulted in more tickets being done? Untrue. Resulted in better communication. True. Facilitated. That's a nice fancy word. Clear boundaries in the tasks I completed. I don't know about the stand-ups one though. In the tasks I completed and better communication between my manager, my team, and I. It's pretty decent. Right? Pretty decent. Decent meaning decent? Is that something people say? Or am I a trendsetter? I say yes. Gorgeous. So, describe a situation in which you felt you had not communicated well enough. What did you do and how did you handle it? We said this was to be accountability and self-awareness. In my last job, my manager set unclear expectations in the terms of the level of communication they expected from me. Consequently, I set up a weekly meeting with my manager to discuss clear KPIs for me and the team and establish what sort of communication they wanted regarding ticket completion. This facilitated clear boundaries in the tasks I completed and better communication between my manager, my team, and I. Am I answering this correctly if it's I felt I had not communicated well enough? Not someone saying I hadn't communicated well enough. It's probably fine though. How do you feel about streaming for 3 hours and doing 3 of these? There are like 30 of them like this. Behavioral. There we go. Okay. We're coming up, and by coming up on the 3-hour mark, I mean we've passed the 3-hour mark, which is generally how long I stream. So let's wrap it up, babes. When we raid someone, we want to raid someone who has not that many viewers, is kind of engaging in talking, and is in software engineering or game development. I think there's streams. Sorry for abandoning you. That's fine. Be in your meeting. All right, y'all. Thanks for hanging out with me this fine Wednesday and helping me with these questions. I hope that it was helpful for you as well. And next week we'll be back, but it will be in my evening, so later in the day. Let me know what you want to see. We could do a Code Wars. We could do this again. We could do technical prep. I don't know. Or we could do a coding project. So come with me as we raid Kiwi Crow and spread the love and the follows. All right.